The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan in 1678 and Urunoku by Aphra Behn in 1688 initiated the plenteous and colorful tradition of English novel and was followed by Daniel Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, Moll Flanders, and Jonathan Swift. Gulliver's Travels, a famous satire by Jonathan Swift. Other major novelists of 18th century are Samuel Richardson, Pamela or Virtue Rewarded, and Clarissa, both epistolary novels. Henry Fielding, Lawrence Sterne, and Tobias Smollett. The tradition was enriched by many other stalwart novelists such as Charles Dickens, Walter Scott, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Horace Walpole, Thomas Hardy, Wilkie Collins, and H. G. Wells. The 20th century is marked by the modern topics and innovative styles and techniques and widened angles of the views by the novelists like E.M. Foster, James Joyce, Joseph Conrad, Henry James, George Orwell, Graham Greene, D.H. Lawrence, William Golding, and Anthony Burgess. They widened the circumference of the genre by writing political, social, psychological, and other modern issues in their novels. There are immigrant authors like Salman Rushdie from India, V.S. Naipaul from Trinidad, Kazuo Ishiguro from Japan, and many others. The contribution of women novelists to this great pageant cannot be neglected. The novel of manners, Evelina by Frances Burney, Gothic novels by Anne Radcliffe, a novel based on Science of the Age, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley are landmark novels. Jane Austen has been ruling over the minds of the people through her novels. Bronte sisters Emily and Charlotte have created their own place by their incomparable works, The Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. Mary Ann Evans, alias George Eliot, wrote the novels reflecting psychological insight. Virginia Woolf is the pioneer of the stream of consciousness technique in English novel. Agatha Christie created her own place by writing many novels based on crime. Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple are the evergreen detectives created by her. Harper Lee, Margaret Atwood, Toni Morrison, and Alice Walker have elevated the tradition further to prosperity. Indian Scenario Raj Mohan's Wife by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyaya, serialized in the Indian Field, was the first novel in English written by an Indian. The period after that is marked by few more novels written by the Indian writers. These novels bore either nationalistic virtues or social issues as their main framework. Mulkraj Anand, R.K. Narayanan, and Raja Rao were the major trio who prevailed in the period after that. Novelists like Anita Desai, Nayantara Sehgal, and Arun Joshi and Manohar Malgaonkar uplifted and revolutionized Indian English novel through their works. Amitav Ghosh, Vikram Seth, and Upamanyu Chatterjee ameliorated the Indian novel in English by adding new features to it. Recent years have witnessed the dazzling performance by Indian novelists like Salman Rushdie, Arvind Adiga, Arundhati Roy, Kiran Desai, and Kiran Nagarkar. The tradition of Indian English novel since its inception has registered a marked shift exhibiting global concerns. Novella. Novella, the word originated from the Italian word novelli, is a type of narrative prose fiction which is shorter than a full length novel and longer than a short story. It is a well structured yet short narrative, often satiric or realistic in tone. It usually focuses on one incident or issue with one or two main characters and takes place at a single tradition. Some of the famous novellas in English are The Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, The Turn of the Screw written by Henry James, Billy Budd written by Herman Melville, Death in Venice written by Thomas Mann, Seize the Day written by Saul Bellow, Pearl written by John Steinbeck. Let's read the elements of novel or novella. There are six elements essential of novel or novella. All these factors may be related to one another in the work by an author. The first one, theme. Theme is the central idea in the novel which can be expressed in a nutshell. It is a philosophical statement or a truth which the writer has put forth through the narration of the series of events in the story and characters acting in the particular setting. Second one is plot. Plot is essentially the story or the course of events that make up the theme. It is created by the conflict, either internal inside the mind of the character or external with other characters or entities. Plot may be simple, one plot, or complex, consisting the interweaving of many subplots. The third element of the novel is character. Characterization is related to the plot as the course of events take place because of the certain behavior of the characters. Depiction of character can range from a thumbnail sketch to deep, wordy, highly detailed verbal sketch. The important character may have been described in its every aspect by the writer. The minor characters are not given much importance. The reader follows the actions of one main character throughout the novel. This character is referred to as the protagonist. Protagonist means main character. It is in conflict with a character or an entity or a force, internal or external, which is known as antagonist. Next one, next element of the novel is setting. Setting is the background in which the story takes place. There are several aspects of the setting. It includes place, period, time, climate, or weather and lifestyle. Plot and character are the two major elements that are affected due to setting. The next element of the novel or novella is conflict. It is the struggle between the opposite forces in the story is called conflict. Conflict in the story provides interest and curiosity about the plot. The next element of the novel is language or style. The language and the techniques used by the author for the narration of the course of events is known as the style. An author can use extensive vocabulary and high phrases, or he may be laconic and would write only to the point, or he may mix both according to the requirement for meeting his purpose. He may use linguistic devices to make the narrative effective. All these factors decide the texture of the narration and create an impact on the readers.